Welcome back to another Need for Speed 2022 video. Mate, we are surely so close to the announcement of the game now. That must be the next thing, unless there's another leak, because it happens a lot. Today we are joined by a guest, Sleeping Cat. How many of you remember this video? Well, it's been yeeted. Tencent yeeted my video. It's gone. I gave some information in that I kind of have to now put in this video. But thankfully, Tencent did remove my copy strike. Yeah. They striked the channel. So that was real. So you may have missed this. If you haven't missed it, well, that's it. Basically, the game is coming out between October and December this year, which obviously means November. Wow, who would have thought? Whoa. But the main point of today's video is that Need for Speed 2022, Criterion, we need to talk. This is a super important moment in time, considering the game is supposed to, and if not now confirmed to release in November, guaranteeing there's no delays. It is a vital moment because everything is gonna be locked in very, very soon. We need to set in stone some final bits and let them know exactly what needs to happen with Need for Speed. We, the players, know. You may remember a game called Battlefield 2042, and that went well. We need to tell them right now what's going to happen, because that could possibly happen with this game. Okay, I don't think they're going to go that far at their own bum, because they know Heat was good, right? This is quite possibly the last chance we get to do this big push, and so therefore I am making this video right now, and it's up to you guys too. Please, in the comments, tell us what you want to see in Need for Speed. If I remind you of anything, activate a thought, write that down too. But the very first thing that Criterion need to know is to use the series advantages. If you have big PP, use big PP. Need for Speed is top dog in customization. You don't even need to question it. You've got the crew, which is pretty good as well, but compared to any other big game, Need for Speed just wipes the floor with every other thing. There's no question about it. However, Need for Speed has some huge pillars that are super important to the series that they've not even used them properly for the longest time. And if they have used them properly, they haven't used them to their full extent. And this game, well, it could do that. Police chases in the Endgame, past playing through the progression in which they are used, which is really good because, well, they should be. They're such a pivotal point of Need for Speed. However, they are useless once you've really done the Endgame. There was a little bit of a dibble-dabble in there with the Ultimate Plus parts, but if you are a professional player like myself, then quite honestly, it's not difficult to do that in no time whatsoever. I smashed through it. I'm sure you guys did too, you know. We need something like an endgame progression built around the police, or something that you can get impounded, or you go into like ultimate mode. Something with the police to make it worthwhile actually having them after you post the game. It's fun, don't get me wrong, but with some structure. Kind of think of like Call of Duty Zombies. It's literally Need for Speed's Call of Duty Zombies. Why are we not making more use of it? Stat tracking. This is a pretty huge one as well, because in Heat there is practically no stat tracking whatsoever. This game is talking about a big push with autolog returning, because Criterion in the back, they're like, oh, we created autolog. So now they're going to push all the stats and everything. However, you better track the stats that we actually care about. I don't care. Oh, you did 20 million jumps. Oh, I smashed 3 billboards. I do not care about those things. However, what I do care about as a car enthusiast is maybe how much I spent on my new car, how many miles I've done with said car, what is my favorite car. I think it would really create a baseline for when the used market arrives, because we know that's going to happen. We've been asking for how long. When the used market arrives, imagine being able to track the stats on who originally bought the car and basic things like miles, money spent, favorite car should all be tracked and displayed in a menu. Even if it's not publicly shared right now, that information should be withheld, especially if you're talking about doing autoload, because I don't like really bother comparing times with other people. It does not do anything for me, but I do think I would track, oh, I spent this much on my car, and I would flex on my mates with it. So that, yeah. New cars are not enough. We, the players of Forza Horizon 5 and Gran Turismo, so you gotta remember, there's not that many racing games out there, so we play all of them. We have played both these games, and I have to say, Gran Turismo, I'm kind of burnt out after 2 months, if not, actually feels like less than that. Also, Forza Horizon 5, I was burnt out after maybe a couple of weeks. This is a common thing. I jump back into those games to play the new cars, but that is it. That may sound really good to you because, of course, people can pay for these. You pay for these cars, you buy microtransactions, or you buy the car pass, or whatever. However, what I will say is I would play longer if you added new ways to play with these vehicles. For example, there's the police in the game. If you could do something where I have to do a police chase to unlock a special car, a special version of the car. You bring out the new Corvette as DLC, for example, and I want a cross-cop version. I have to do a 5-heat pursuit and smash as many cops as I possibly can and escape, and then I get this special cop design on here that I can use for game modes, and we can play cops and robbers together with. Things like that are so much better than just doing, here's a new car. I do not care. Cars are cool, and I like cars. That's why we bought the game. However, all the cars in most arcade games drive the same, and once I've built them, what am I really gonna bother doing with them anymore? Give me stuff to do, give me objectives. Don't do what we did in Heat, where we had no progression for the cars on the base game, but then grind out for basic parts on the actual DLC cars. That doesn't make sense. What we need is a good middle ground where we get the full customization. However, if you want a cop version, or if you want a super duper upgraded version, you have to do certain objectives with those cars. Heck, just bring out a new game mode completely. Bring out a pack that also brings out like an eliminator mode update. Sick. The biggest issue, handling. Now here's the thing. We go back to 2015 and there's always an argument. People say 2015 is such a good game, blah blah, handling's great, blah blah blah. That's wrong. That's an absolute lie. It is pathetic. Oh, but you can figure it out. You can get the hang of it. That's not the point. They always talk about Need for Speed being easy to access, hard to master. That's kind of the point of the handling. That game was just downright stupid to handle. We're almost a decade into the Ghost era of Need for Speed. Well, that's kind of dead now, but you know what I'm saying. 10 years in and we still haven't got the handling down. The handling is one of the most important things to do with a racing game. If you have bad handling, people are going to remember that. I mean, TDU 2, one of my absolute favorite games, had one of the worst handling models in the world. However, I still remember that game because it fixed everything else. So, however, you should fix it and make it better. I've seen other YouTubers that are properly into racing games, or people that are not into racing games at all have an even harder time jumping into 2015 to the point where they even just skipped over the game because it was just so dumb. However, Heat was much better, I must say. They have, in the Ghost Games era, they have fixed drifting, made drifting better, ruined drifting again, not ruined it, but made it worse. And then with the grip handling, they've just made it, well, they made it better over time, but they're still not there. They're still not there. The biggest problem with this is for newcomers, we can always learn and adapt, and we will, but you should really focus on keeping those new players too, because they're missing out on a cracking series. Endgame! I do not care if you plan to support this game properly. We know Heat was going to have a support post-launch. We knew there were going to be updates. We knew they was going to add a bunch of stuff. We know there's things that they were meant to add, but still didn't add, as those container car thingy bubble doodads. What the hell did he just say? Updates? Cool. Nice. Sounds alright. What happens when they shut the servers off? We go back to Need for Speed games, and EA knows this, because EA is the only company that really licenses racing games for the long term. You can still buy, well, up until last year, you could still buy The Run, was it? Which is what, 2011? That's insane that you could do that. And they probably only removed Hot Pursuit because they were going to do the remaster of it. EA knows that we care about the longevity of Need for Speed games. EA cares about keeping those licenses longer. And that should say a lot. That's insane, because we always think, oh, EA, big bad evil, but at the same time, they're actually doing that for us. They're listening and extending licenses, even though it's going to cost more money. But my point is, there needs to be, a proper rant there, there needs to be end game content. There needs to be extra things to do, like we spoke earlier about new cars having special versions or something available in the game from launch. New cars are cool, they make you come back, but look at Forza. I almost feel like it's something we have to do. We have to go on Forza and check out the new cars because that's where we see them first. If I had another option available, Need for Speed was out, or the crew was like, they were still focusing on pumping out updates, big updates constantly for the crew, I would probably check the cars out on those games first because I prefer them. Forza feels a little bit like a chore. Like, I want to check out the car, I'm accepting that I have to play this game to do it. But my point is, Endgame needs to be in the game from the go. I don't care about post-launch. We need things to do later. People finish games at different rates. I'm one of those that finishes the game super quick. There's people that played Heat and completed the story in one day. Just like with Most Wanted. Most Wanted will take me probably a week to play through, but there are people that will play through the game in a few hours. This is a thing. The structure of the game as well. Games are trying to be more open. Games are trying to say, oh yeah, you can do this, or you don't have to do this one at all, actually. That's good. However, it means that there's so much content that people just don't even bother with. Maybe really highlight that content post the game afterwards, so they go, oh, I can unlock a special car by doing this. I can unlock a special, I don't know, NOS bottle by doing this. We always like to complain about Need for Speed Payback. However, they did do some things really, really good, which is the upgrade system to me. I think it's hit or miss. Part of it's terrible, part of it's really good. But the ability to grind out your car perks was so good to me. So much effort went into it. Yes, it was randomized. There maybe needs to be less randomness in it. It wasn't perfect, but I tried to build a car that had the best perks, and it maybe made you like a mile an hour faster each time you got a perk, or it made your NOS last a second longer. It's still down to mostly driving skill to outperform somebody. However, having that and having driving skill, I don't know, it gives you a reason to keep that grind on, and I'm for that. So then there's the obvious things like PvP. That's been missing. There's things like, oh, I want the Supra in the game. I want the C8 Corvette in the game. I want an auction house. These are all very important things. However, I mean, I guess the auction house would increase the longevity, but you know what I'm saying. But I want to leave it to you guys to fill these in. EA needs to know what you guys want to see. We don't want another Battlefield 2042. 2042? 2043? I'll lose cap. They do that all the time. They went too far up their own arms to realize that they went too far. Quite honestly, they went too far. They went too far away from what the series is. And I'm sure, thankfully, it wasn't Need for Speed that did that to realize that that would be a bad idea. It was actually Battlefield, which means Criterion, I'm sure, well, they worked on Battlefield, so they went, oh, you know, maybe we should, you know, stick to what the people want, you know? They saw that, and that's good. They saw it like a year plus before our game came out. Granted, they are now fixing Battlefield, which is amazing. But would they fix Need for Speed in the same way? No. We also mentioned previously that Codemasters Cheshire was rumored to be working on Need for Speed, but that's now confirmed, which is great news. They've created some of the best environments and games that I can even think of. It's good to have them on board. This is not the F1 team. Do not worry about that. This is the team that worked on Dirt 5, not Dirt Rally. They worked on Onrush. They also worked, some of them, on Motorstorm, and some of them worked on the beautiful game known as Drive Club. So, we got some good team building here. Thanks so much for watching this video. And again, please, this is down to you in the comments. Let them know what you want to see. What's the most important features to you? Thanks so much for watching. You're in the right place for Need for Speed 2022. You already know, Mr. Need for Speed. That's me and you. Or Mrs. Need for Speed. Or X Need for Speed. You know. Smash like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you very soon for some Need for Speed stuffs. Peace.